you see, I didn't think dance could move me or could even concern me. And I was sitting on the edge of my seat in tears for the entire thing. And it just blew me away. Especially Kaffee Müller, what Pina Bausch, the yet to me unknown Pina Bausch, told about men and women in that 35 minutes was mind-blowing. And it was, I felt it was more than the entire history of cinema had shown me about the subject. So I did prolong immediately my stay and saw everything. We saw everything. And in that time in Venice, I met Pina also. For a quarter of an hour, we had a coffee together. That was our first encounter. And in that first encounter, I already mentioned a film that we should do together one day. Pina didn't say anything in that entire thing. I don't think she said more than hello to me and smiled and lit one cigarette after another. And when I mentioned that we should do a film together, she smiled very benignly and again didn't say anything, so I felt a little foolish. But I was so enthusiastic. And I thought either she didn't hear it or it was preposterous and she didn't react to it. So, but when we met the next time, that was in Wuppertal, a year afterwards, she asked me, as if it had just been the other day, you mentioned a film. That would be a good idea. And since then it was on the table for 20 years.
Now, do you think that your reaction, we mentioned the emotion, do you think the reaction is because of the idea of the theater, that it is not just dance, but it is theater, that she creates a feeling of not really character so much as emotions and movement against a landscape that almost seems, to my mind, a bit like cinema?
It is very cinematic. Both Kaffee Müller and Sacco di Printemps are both very cinematic. And of course, music plays a big part in it, and of course it has always played a big part in my life. And I thought Stravinsky was fantastic, and Henry Purcell was a huge discovery for me in Kaffee Müller.
Yep.
That was amazing, the way she used that music. And it was, for me, the great emotional impact was that I felt what these people were doing on stage was not primarily linked in any way to aesthetics. It was linked to something very existential and very primary, and it came out of their bodies in a way that reverberated in mine, which I never thought was possible. I never felt dance was really concerning me physically or mentally. And there I was so involved. Kaffee Müller just gripped me as if I was one of the actors. I identified very, very strongly with these 6 sleepwalking people on the stage.
The first time I saw it, I thought of Beckett.
It is, yeah. It has that quality, it has that metaphoric quality also, but it's also not, Beckett is almost entirely metaphoric, but Pina's art is also so physical and so contagious. I mean, Beckett is, yeah, it comes from the same source, I guess.
I also think of, and I wonder if you feel the same, that, for example, positioning the dancers against water or against the peat it gives it a kind of tactile sensibility that is unusual, that's unique, that confronts the dancer and therefore confronts the audience.
There's always something that you have to overcome on stage. I mean, dancing on the peat, on the earth is very different than dancing on the dance floor. And I know that. I stepped onto the peat, and when we worked on it, we took our shoes off and barefoot and shot barefoot on this thing, and it was such a sensation to walk on this stuff. And then, of course, there's water, and there's wind, and there's rocks. I mean, there's always obstacles on stage, and it is tremendous how contagious Pina's art is, and how, I mean, dance never did that for me, and most other, even modern dancers, don't do that for me, that I feel it talks so much about us in the audience and about our lives, and it's so obvious how we connect to that.